Press record. Hey guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. It's Donovan here.
Gordon, we have a guest from NZ. He's actually my son, but he's also unbiased. And I believe, I don't know, that he's a big New Zealand supporter like his father.
Grant, how's it going?
Not too bad.
So you see, Grant's my brother-in-law in New Zealand. He's the ugliest of my brother-in-laws. He's not the most good-looking one, and so we've got Grant over from New Zealand because we had actually arranged.
No, we never got him over from New Zealand. He's still in.
No, he's still in New Zealand, but we actually made arrangements before the game on Saturday that we were going to have Grant chat on the show, and then Grant was actually going to have a chat, and he decided he was actually going to watch the game.
Yeah.
What did you think of the game, Grant?
Well, if you look at the stats of the game, they paint quite a different picture to what the end scores. I think the only thing we won in that game was the fact that we got one yellow card and they got 0. If you're looking directly at the stats,
I've actually got the stats here. I've got them here. I'm just going to pull them out in the front here because theoretically, we shouldn't have won that game.
No, I mean, if I had to judge that game just based on the stats, and you start looking at, I mean, you just look at say meters carried. I mean, they're 3 times more than us just on meters carried alone.
633 to 245 carries.
I'd be interested to see what the kicking stats were for that game. I can't find those anywhere. I'd say we didn't kick the ball as much as we usually do.
No, but I think we actually kicked. Our kicks were accurate. They went to the corners. And unlike New Zealand, we seem to have kicked them between those 2 tall things.
Yeah. I mean, you can't.
No, what is it? So who was kicking and he missed 4, hit the post?
Bowden Barrett. Yeah.
Hey, no, that was shocking for Bowden Barrett because he's so accurate. Now, the thing is, I'm a New Zealand supporter. Even if they played South Africa, look, I'm glad South Africa won. I'm not ecstatic and overjoyed that I'll do backflips and everything. But the point is, New Zealand should have won that game. I don't know what it was, if they were afraid to tackle South Africans or if they were afraid that the South Africans would turn them into frogs or something like that. But my support was with New Zealand, and I'm quite sorry that they lost.
I'd say the team that wanted to win that game the most won.
Yeah,
that's what it came down to.
Well, 2 minutes and 9 seconds in the first half, they scored a try. Was it 2 minutes 9 seconds?
I checked it last night. I watched the game again. It was 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
4 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, we've got a previous record with 3 minutes and 9 seconds. We were playing the Hawaii, weren't we?
No, I was watching the game and I'd set all the times, and I'd said, if we get past 3 minutes and 9 seconds without conceding a point, great.
Yeah,
we did. I said, if we get past 10 minutes and we don't, and it stays the same, then great, and we did. So
then you get through the first half.
That's something that the Springboks really need to concentrate on.
Sorry, guys.
That's something that those Springboks really need to concentrate on. Is those first 10 minutes, they seem to be letting away all those soft tries. I mean, that was 12 points. That
exactly.
Grant, they seem to come back strong in the second half, right?
New Zealand always come back strong. No, even when I was sitting there at half time and we were in the lead, I still felt that I still wasn't super happy because I know New Zealand come back in the second half. And they do, and in the last 20 minutes they come even harder, which they did.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was worried about. We got a good lead at one point, and I was like, right, let's not get excited.
They fouled on the pressure.
Luckily they didn't really take the foot off the gas that much, and physically they kept up the full 80 minutes, and that's I think what just got them through.
I think so too.
Through to the end. I mean, they didn't stop right up until that final whistle. They were going for it.
Yeah,
and I think the defending
their tackling, if they were looking at improving anything, I'd say their tackling, they seem to run with the ball carrier for a few steps before they actually try and put the tackle in.
Yeah.
And that's where teams like the All Blacks just gain so many meters.
Yeah.
They just gain meters. Just, I don't know why they're not just dropping into the tackle straight away, you know, and putting their faith in their teammate that if he passes the ball, he's going to pick up the next guy.
Yeah.
And we lose a lot of meters to that. A hell of a lot. I watched, and the main thing I was screaming out was, A, don't kick, and B, tackle. Tackle, and so many times. But that Imperial, shit, he can step.
Cheapest.
Step.
Yes. Fast, eh?
Just his first try, just that cheeky little bit that he didn't need to do. I mean, you don't remember everyone was playing around a Barrett, any one of them. When you're behind the try line and you could have just put the ball down. But just watching his step,
Yeah.
I think it was at that point that I knew that they believed in themselves to beat the All Blacks. When they were backing themselves. They had that little cockiness about them that they could actually run, pass the ball, flick it off, and step. I saw his step, and I was like, why don't they just give the ball to him a little bit more often? Work your way down to the wing. You know, run it.
Brilliant.
Speedy, the last thing you want to do with the All Blacks is give it back to them. Why, if you work it, get it back. Why would you want to kick it back to them and let them run it back at you? They love running. They absolutely love running. You know, don't let them run it back.
No, I agree with you 100% there, Grant, because I exactly right. Looking at the stats, 3 times more meters carried, 4 times more carries, 3 times more defenders, 4 times more passes. At least
234 to 61. We only passed the ball 61 times.
Yeah, but the thing, possession 75 to 24.
Yeah, then you look at offloads. Look at offloads, 17 to 3.
Exactly. It's. Right. I look at these stats, and if you looked at these stats and you hadn't watched the game and you don't know the score, and you see 6, because New Zealand scored 6 tries to 5, you would think New Zealand won.
Yeah.
Because
you look you look at the Rucks one though. You look at Rucks, and you look at how we've always been a forward-dominated team. And then you look at Rucks 153 to 40.
Yeah.
Don't know. Scrums 13 to 7. Lineouts 9 to 6. I mean, lineouts used to be our staple. That's what we used to go to. What do you want to do? Oh, we want to go into some ground. Kick it out. We'll win it back. I didn't see when I played rugby. The thing was challenge always challenge. Now you look at a lot of the lineouts that they drive off of. If you jump up and compete for that ball, it doesn't let them set up nicely to start driving. You know, if you let them just catch it, come down, and you focus all your attention onto pushing and defending the line out when it turns into a maul, why not try and disrupt that?
I agree with you 100%. Because I was looking at, we're missing people like Victor Matfield, I can't think of a better scrum caller in the world. And we're missing someone like that can control that line. Look at even Etzebeth took all he's brilliant. He's so explosive, to catch that ball. But we need someone who can control that line out a little bit better, and we need them to compete. Because at the last 20 minutes, we didn't compete for any of the lineouts, and it's not good at all from that respect. But from a standing up for your fellow player, tackled mate 226 to 46.
I can tell you there'd be some All Blacks hurting. They'll be hurting today.
Oh yeah! Look, I read an article last week, and they were talking about how attack is the new thing in rugby. It's all out attack, and the New Zealanders are the best at attack. But this game showed that defence can win games.
It can win games, but it was pressure on defence, I think, that won that game.
Yes.
I watched sections of that game where they were under pressure. The All Blacks were under pressure, and they looked like every single other team. The moment you put someone under pressure, they make mistakes.
Yeah.
And they make big mistakes, like try-scoring mistakes.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same as every other team. Exactly the same. The only difference between the All Blacks and every single other team is the team plays well together. They play as a team, as a full unit. Everyone takes responsibility for what happened yesterday. Every single one of them will. And they'll work on that, and they'll come back even stronger. Just like
I watch a show, the breakdown, and Sir John Kerwin, and also, and he was saying that the All Blacks need to lose a game before the World Cup, because a lot of those players that are the young players that are in New Zealand, they've never tasted defeat.
Yeah, well, they did before the last World Cup too. They were saying, oh, they need to lose one before the last World Cup, and they did, and they won it. I don't think there's many teams that can stop them.
No, look.
The main thing I think is just pressure. Keep your defence tight, and make sure that every single ball they run at you, you're putting them under pressure, under constant pressure. You need to be fit so you can rebound, straight back up, rely on your fellow teammate, which is what a lot of teams want to do, is rely on the next person being there. You look at the offloads from the All Blacks; they can be running straight forward, looking dead straight at you, and just chuck the ball, because they know that their teammate is there. They know someone's backing them up. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I think that does come down to fitness too, but also, you know, if they're not there, their own team will come down on them. You know, they're a very professional outfit.
Very, 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 very. And look, I'm not saying, because I've watched. I was thinking about it yesterday, and the 3 best games that I've watched in this last 2 years had New Zealand in the game. So I think it was the first test against New Zealand versus the Lions. It was a freaking cracker of a game. There was South Africa versus New Zealand in Cape Town at Newlands last year, where New Zealand beat us by 1 point. That was a cracker of a game. Yesterday's game was phenomenal. Not just from because I'm a South African supporter and we won. I just thought, to save the Rugby Championship and to save Southern Hemisphere Rugby, we needed that game yesterday.
Yep.
You know, New Zealand needs a challenge.
The thing is, it's the rivalry. They know that when the All Blacks face up against the Springboks, no matter how we are, they know they're in for a battle. They know they're in for a proper game of rugby. You know, and that's the thing. You'll hear it anywhere around here. That All Blacks South Africa games, they love them. They absolutely love them. It's just that they know there's a competition on. Doesn't matter if they beat us 50-0. I mean, there is a competition on.
Yeah.
The score doesn't always reflect the game. I mean, there's hard rugby being played.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
I've always thought that you always know when you've played South Africa.
Yeah. Well, there'll be 243 tackles. Like I said, there'll be some sore All Blacks today. Some very, very sore All Blacks.
But, you know, I like what Rassie Erasmus said after the thing. He said, you know, it's not that we want to come here and beat New Zealand or beat the All Blacks. It's the yardstick that you measure your own rugby success against.
Yeah.
And if you want to be the best in the world, you have to play the best in the world. And New Zealand are the best in the world. And that's bar none. You know, there's not one in professional sport. There's no more professional team or successful team than the All Blacks. And
they just don't stop winning. The thing is that they've gotten so used to winning that it's just second nature to them now. That's what the Springboks need to do. They need to get used to. They need to have the winning mentality. That's the only thing that'll take them forward. I mean, it's not like our players aren't talented. It's not like they're not capable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent. I mean, we have a lot more talent. I mean, just the numbers alone.
Yeah.
You're telling me we can't get 15 guys together to put on a field that are better.
Yeah.
Or even just the same, you know. I mean, from millions and millions to a small place like New Zealand, it's the way they brought up to play.
Yeah.
It's how they're made to believe in themselves and their own capabilities as well as their team. That's the difference. Our team lacks a little bit of self-belief. They know they're good. They just don't have that self-belief. They don't have the winning mentality, and that's what we lack. And the thing is, like, after they got their first try, you could see it starting to come. And I was thinking to myself, trying to, you know, just be optimistic, without getting too far ahead. Thinking, well, maybe they're showing a little bit of signs of maybe we could win this one, you know. And you could see them starting to back each other, and then you could start to fall away like near the end, and then pick back up again. Defense was good, but it wasn't great.
Well, in all honesty, we're saying what a defensive effort, but we still bled 5 tries. Yeah. So
really
what
soft one? Yeah.
Well, what team in the world would ever say defense was immaculate and you scored? You had 5 tries scored against you, or 6 tries, not 5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? if you looked at the game, who was your standout players for the game?
Oh, I'd say, which side? Springboks, All Blacks?
Both sides. Whoever you wanted to talk about.
Both sides. I'd say our tight five actually did a good job. I think they had a hard job ahead of them.
Yeah.
They stuck it out. They did the donkey work. They did exactly what was expected of them. I don't fancy being them running around like that for 80 minutes. You see the amount of tackles coming up. I'd say, 2/3 of those I'd say were our tight five, just piling themselves and doing the donkey work. But that's their job. That's what's expected of them, and they did their job.
Yeah.
I'd say Faf. He had a pretty good one.
Faf is just brilliant.
He's busy. He's busy. I think he got outshone a little bit by Aaron Smith.
Yeah.
If you had to compare him, apples for apples.
This is world class, though.
Oh, he is, yeah. I'd say TJ. I'd say they were probably about the same level when he came in for the sub. I think Faf held up well against him. I still think Aaron Smith. I've always liked Aaron Smith.
Yeah.
An exceptional player. He just sees things, and he owns it. You can't really put any sort of scrum half against him, expecting him to shine. But I'd say Faf did hold up quite well. And Pee-wee, just with his running. He surprised me. He actually surprised me. To be fair, I mean, I haven't seen much of him. But I was watching last night, actually properly watching, like glued to the screen. And he's got it. He's got it. And they just need to give the ball to him. Give him just a bit of space and see what he can do. I mean, we had Habana that could run circles around anyone. And I believe he could be that too, if he wanted.
I think so too. I think he's got a great...
When you look at the All Blacks, and I don't know where it ended, where we stopped marking our opposite number, and looking at where the ball goes. If they'd ever watched an All Blacks game recently, they'd know the names they need to mark. I mean, they come up all the time. In every single play, you'll hear them. Aaron Smith, Bowden Barrett, Crotty, and Ben Smith. I mean, the first thing you do is you want to watch both the damn Smiths. Come on.
Yes. Always. Always.
The Barretts. If there's more than one Barrett, watch all of them.
4 of them, man. There were 3 of them. There were 3 playing last night.
It's very, very simple from a South African's perspective. The ball comes out. You've got a scrum. The ball comes out. First thing you do is you watch that damn Aaron Smith, because he's a slippery little bugger. You watch Aaron Smith. Straight away, you watch Bowden Barrett, because he's just as bad. I mean, when that kid's on fire, no one stops him. He's incredible. He believes in himself.
Yeah.
He really believes in himself. And his team. I mean, it's not just him. It's not just that he's this exceptional person. The team's behind him, back him. He knows he can offload at any time he wants. And Crotty's straight there for him, And then you've got Ben Smith. I mean, put him wherever you want to put him, and he's great. He's just great. He seems never to be phased.
No, I agree with you with Ben Smith. For me personally, I prefer Ben Smith at 15. I think he's definitely. I prefer him at 15. I prefer to have Ricky Ioane's just an exceptional player on the wing. I feel personally would have been yesterday's game. Wasaki Nahola would have done really well yesterday. I think, especially with the size of our 2 wings, I think having Wasaki Nahola would have brought that something special. But I think Ben Smith's position is 15. That's where he is just. Well, he's exceptional at 14, but he is just exceptional at 15.
He's safe hands at the back, though. I mean, if you need someone as a last line of defence or under a hard ball, Ben Smith.
And I agree with you there 100%.
He's starting to get there in age.
So
he's starting to get there in age, though.
Yes. So that's why I think they played Geordie Barrett yesterday, because they need an heir apparent to Ben Smith. But
Oh, he had an exceptional brain fart. Oh, that was just great.
I was watching the TV and I went, that was such a bad mistake. I thought South Africa had done it.
But you know, the thing is, I saw him running up to get the ball, and I was like, watch him, he's going to throw it. And then he threw it, and Billy Leroux must have heard me.
Yeah.
I was like, watch him, he's going to take it quick. And then he took it, and I was like, oh, there we go. Billy Leroux heard me. Woohoo!
I must say, that was diabolical. You know, look, I've been reading in the papers, and everyone's talking about, you know, they should have taken the drop goal at the end. Nigel Owens missed a penalty at the end. These things happen in a game. You know, they happen in a game.
That Nigel Owens almost ruined that game with that yellow card. He almost ruined that game. It was such a good game. But then, I mean, you could always say that we turned around and we beat the All Blacks with 14 guys on the field. You know, we didn't need the 15th.
Yeah, I just look. I look at it and I think I try to look at a game as a whole. You know, at the end of the day, if Beauden Barrett had slotted 2 conversions,
yeah,
they would have won.
Yeah.
You know, if they had taken a penalty instead of going for the line at the 60th minute, they would have won that game. So you take
All Blacks always back themselves. They'll always back themselves to get that try.
Exactly.
Even I was going for polls, but they don't. They will not. They don't do that. They back themselves.
It also shows that maybe they.
That is how you win. You back yourself.
Yeah.
And they were almost over that line. How many times were they almost over that line?
Yeah.
Just took one silly mistake or one guy just not reacting quick enough.
Yeah.
It would have been a try single day of the week. And they backed themselves.
And we would have been having a completely different video today.
Yes. Yeah. You have to back yourself. They do. Yeah. They back themselves and they win. They're used to winning. They have the winner's mentality. They should have won. They should have won yesterday. They should have.
On paper, yes. You're absolutely correct.
On paper, they should win.
I must admit, I wish I had put 100 Rand or 200 Rand on the Springboks are winning, because at 20-1, I would have walked away with a bit of money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. But I mean, who could predict that? Who honestly, who could predict that? In all honesty, 100% honest with yourself, I mean, did you honestly think that the Springboks were going to win that? I thought it was going to be a proper battle. I thought it was going to be a battle like they always are. But I was in 2 minds whether we were going to win that, seeing as our last 2 games were, and seeing the silly mistakes. I don't think we're going to win that. We would have taken something astronomical, but it did, and all the guys bound together. That defense playing, you just see them talking to each other.
Yeah.
Guys are piling in, stopping the guy, and they're talking. I mean, that's all. They were talking from across the field towards each other.
It's all it needs. It's just a bit of communication.
Yeah, a bit of communication, and stop kicking that damn ball. If you're going to kick it, make it tactical. If you're going to kick it, make sure you can retrieve it. If you're going to kick it, let it go into touch. Don't just boot it mindlessly up the field, because that's how we lose to them every single time. You get under pressure and you boot it. And then what do? You normally give it to Ben Smith.
Yeah.
And then he has a crack at you coming down, and he'll normally hand it off, and you got someone by sucking a hollow or someone running back at you. You don't want that.
Yeah. Right? Well, see, I was looking at the game. My absolute player of the day was Peter Steff du Toit. I think he's just got and he summed up that game at the end when he was crying. You know, it just showed how much it actually meant to him to actually, because I don't think he's ever experienced a game where he's beaten the All Blacks. Never. You know, so it's only happened. Only happened 4 times since '92 that we've beaten them at home. So
there's actually a stat to overall it's what have you got here? It was something silly like 96 games or.
Yeah, and this is the 36th or something that we won. 38th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the 36th time we've beaten them in 96 meetings. I mean,
gosh,
come on. That shows the rivalry from a different side. That when I was growing up, I don't remember it being that bad. I remember it was a 1-for-1 thing, you know.
Yeah, it was. It was up until a certain point. Yes, it was 1-to-1, and then I think with the modern era, with the way that the modern era has changed, where it's become more attacking rugby, it's more about skills and it's more about those kind of things. Then our physicality has been put on the back burner. It's not as important as Like now you need players like Brodie Retallick that can offload, that can do dummies. Bloody a lock forward at 120 kilograms doing a dummy. You know, that's the kind of skills you need on the field. You know, whereas we have like an Evan who doesn't.
The only sort of dummy you get when you're looking at Brodie Retallick is the guy standing in front of him trying to tackle him when he's running at you. I don't think you need to sidestep the ball, you know.
Exactly.
I don't think you can dummy, sidestep, any of that. It's just the dummy is the guy standing in front of him trying to stop that absolute mountain coming towards you.
It's just exceptional. I think
243 times.
Gosh.
Well, they did. I think they did miss him yesterday. I think he would have brought that other physicality that they did need in the front. But I've got to give credit to the boys. You know, if I look at my player of the day, obviously was Peter Steff because I just thought he played amazingly. But my other player was Warren Whiteley. You know, he physically stopped 2 tries. There was one by Aaron Smith and was it PJ? I can't remember. It was the scrum half, and then the other one was on the other wing with Rico. And he actually was the person that stopped those tries. He was everywhere. And Warren needed to step up. You know, he's got Dwayne Vermeulen that's chomping at his heels. And everyone wants Dwayne Vermeulen. So I just think Warren Whiteley stood up and he showed, listen, I deserve to be here.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, every single player needs to do that. You know, if they don't stand up, then they need to get replaced.
It's exactly the same as the All Blacks. They've got so much depth, and they've got to keep those positions.
Yeah.
You know, like Ryan Crotty, I think Ryan Crotty's amazing. But you've got Sonny Williams behind him, Lamarpe behind that. You know, you look at the depth, Jack Goodhue, then you've got Anton Leonard-Brown behind that. Then you look at the wings. Well, Soki Nohola didn't even make the match day 23.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Neomindel Scudder, you've got Rico Ioane, Ben Smith, Geordie Barrett. That's the back 5. Those are world-class players.
Yeah.
So we need the same Springboks.
It's not okay to start if you're second best, you know, unless the actual person that's supposed to be there is injured. It's not okay to start if you're second best. I don't know when the Springboks have started saying it's okay to finish second best. It's okay if we don't win. You know, it was a close game. When is it okay to become second place? I don't know. I've never liked it. Oh, at least we lost by 5 points, or hey, it was close, 1 point. It's not a win. No one's going to remember. You'll be there 36 times in 96 tests. That's how we get to that sort of score when it's okay to lose. I don't know how it's ever been okay to lose.
I agree.
I don't know where that comes from. Oh, we were close. Oh, that was a nice hard game. Yeah, but did we win? You know, that's the question they need to ask. Well, why aren't we winning?
Yeah.
Is it player dedication? Is it the amount of effort they're putting in? I mean, how much effort are they putting in at training?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know where it is. I don't know how it's okay to be second best. We won now.
Exactly.
That's okay.
You know what Nick Mallett said after the game? He said the Springboks have set the bar now.
Yeah.
We know that they can play at that level. So
what happens next week? We take on Australia and let them beat us again? Or do we keep that same urgency up? You see, it's not the same rivalry with Australia. So what do? Do we just show up for the All Blacks games? Or do we take that same passion that they played with? That's what got them through yesterday, was the amount of passion and the want and the need. They needed to win. They had to win. They needed to playing their rivals. I mean, you're playing the best in the world. You have to show up. And they showed up and they won. Now, is it okay to let that go? Is it okay to let that go next week and go, oh, okay, well, we'll pick the All Blacks. Doesn't really matter if we lose, win or lose this week.
No,
doesn't matter.
We have to win the
next games. Yeah, but if we could win Australia and then we could win New Zealand straight afterwards, well, guess who's taking the championship?
Yes, exactly.
No,
yeah.
Why make the All Blacks game be the driver when we could make the championship become the driver? And then when you start looking at it in those sort of terms of goals, then, okay, well, if we've won the championship, what stops us from taking the World Cup?
Yeah.
We need guys with the passion that believe they can win that World Cup, not just like, oh, we'll give it a go.
Mm.
You know, That's got to be their driver.
Well, now they've got no excuses. They've got absolutely no excuses. Because nothing at all. Because now that's the level of intensity I expect. Because I watch New Zealand, when they play, every single team they play at the same intensity. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They're out to win. That's it.
That's it. If the other team's not performing, well, guess what? Then it's a runaway, and they just scored 10 tries. It's the same intensity. Everyone wants those tries. Everyone wants them. But they'll sacrifice putting the ball down themselves to ensure that it does actually go over the line. They will pass it. They will pass it. They won't hog it. The only person that hogs is Sonny Ball.
Oh, actually, if I look at from a South African side, I think most of them hog it. But that's me personally. You know, I don't think we have the same silky skills as New Zealand.
No.
But
handling.
But we can defend. We can get up. We can get up quickly. I watched those guys, and they were up so quickly, getting up off the ball, getting back in line. That's what wins your games. You know. Why
the difference? Because normally you'll see guys getting up so slowly, watching the play continue along the field. You know, from the last breakdown, and that's the normal, usual. You know, and what was different? Why were they getting up so quickly? What was actually different? Did they sort something out amongst themselves? Was it something the players spoke about?
They were talking about it afterwards, and they said they did nothing different. The only thing that different was because I think everyone had just written them off completely.
Well, they did something different because you look at, usually the players don't spring up. They do not spring up. They do not last 80 minutes.
Yeah.
This time, there's something happened. There is something different. Something's been said, or something's been done, or something's been done between the team. I don't know. Something was different.
Yeah.
Something was drastically different. Just the way they spoke to each other from across it. There was an urgency there, and I don't know where that came from. If they could tell us where that urgency came from, then that's a missing ingredient. And I'm not saying that if they played that way, exactly, they'd beat the All Blacks again. They still have to make a hell of a lot of improvements.
Yeah.
They still find some form of ingredient that's missing.
Well, if they can bottle it and keep it for every single game, then great.
That's it. I think someone lit fire right underneath them, and they must have been pumped.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at the world rankings this weekend, because obviously there was another game. There was some other game that happened in Australia, because I didn't get to watch it because I was just so excited about this victory. But Argentina beat Australia 23-19.
Yeah.
And I was looking at, and I've still got to watch that game, so I'm not going to talk about that one. But what I can say is the Argentinians' kit was just amazing. But I was looking at the world rankings, and we've jumped from 7th to 5th, and Australia have gone from 5th to 7th. 1 weekend.
Yeah,
that's incredible. And New Zealand are still way in the lead. They still got. I think they could lose one more game, and they'd still be still have the top spot.
It's strange how we've just jumped ahead of them when they've just beaten us. You know.
Yeah, the rankings are a strange thing. You know, because it's all about home and away victories. So if you win at home,
we finally won one away.
Exactly.
I'd like to see it come back to South Africa now and see what the difference is with the crowd backing.
I just hope that Bloemfontein, when we play against the Wallabies, that the stadium's full, and that Loftus, when they play the All Blacks at Loftus, that Loftus is packed, that there's people outside the stadium.
You can only imagine that it's going to be packed. I would almost bet on the fact that it's packed.
I'd love to be in Pretoria.
I think Bloemfontein you'll get full house, because that's the real rugby headquarters in South Africa. And
especially after this last result.
Yeah, the guys will be so patriotic. They'll be everybody will have a Springbok shirt on. They'll have boerewors rolls and a fossil in this hand. Any people opposing the Springboks will have a boerewors roll thrown at them.
Well, like I say, after the game on Saturday, once I turned the TV off and everything, it seemed pretty quiet. And I just stuck my head out and listened into the street. There weren't cars driving around. It was just very quiet. Cool.
So everybody was in mourning.
Yeah, I think everyone was in. No, not mourning, just shock.
Shock.
Just shock.
They were all walking around like zombies.
I mean, it's not something that happens often, you know.
Listen, we don't want to take the mickey out of the New Zealanders or the All Blacks because we are supporters of the All Blacks. Well, I am. I'm a diehard, and your mother is also a supporter of the All Blacks. She's even learning the haka now. Yeah, she just loves the haka, right?
It's been a week-long build-up to this game, and everyone's been ragging me at work, so I'm wearing my top through to work tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's all tongue in cheek, you know.
Yeah, is it? As long as they accept it as that, and they don't.
Of course.
Now you'll have to go to Warwick and say, "Well, Warwick, what happened?"
Yeah, because he'll be the one that normally asks me that first.
Yeah. Well, it was very fortunate that we won. Well, look, fortunate and unfortunate, because the unfortunate part is that the All Blacks lost, and the fortunate side is that the Springboks won. But if you cancel them both out, it was like a yes/no. Like the Afrikaners say, ja and ja.
It was war. It was war.
All I can say, to date, this year, that was the best game. To date, this year, that was the best game this year.
It was a physical game near the second half, eh?
It was absolute war. Everyone threw everything they had at that game, right until, I mean, you hear the final buzzer go off, and you're like, well, just blow the damn whistle. Someone kill the ball. Just kill it. I don't care. Just kill it. Just do something and kill it.
Well, when it was on 82 minutes they played, we were just wanting the final to go, the final whistle to go, not the siren, because they play to the referee's time.
Yeah.
And because he does, I think he subtracts all the injury time and all that, or stops the watch. I don't know.
No, they play until there's a stoppage.
But we were all pooing our pants, wetting ourselves, because there was that bloody 2 minutes that. Yeah. Can you remember the World Cup in '96? I think it was 95. And Joel Spence, we were playing Australia, weren't we?
New
Zealand, and he put that drop goal over in the dying moments of the match.
No, extra time.
Was it an extra time?
No, it wasn't extra time. Yeah.
That's the kick they should have pulled off yesterday.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. But
I don't know with that much time left, being stopped on the line for so long, how they did not push Bowden Barrett out and just pop him straight in front of the poles. They were in front of the poles for so long. Don't know how they didn't put him in front of the poles and just let him slot away a drop kick.
It happens. You get white line fever, and you think you can push it over. And let's be honest, that's how New Zealand normally score their tries in the dying minute. They physical front.
It would have just taken one person just keeping their wits about them to go, hey, pop it back, Barrett, drop back into the pocket, set yourself up, put the drop goal.
I take your bet they'll be practicing that move for the next couple of weeks as a plan B when they're in that situation.
But let's swing this scenario around now and say it was us trying to get the points in at the dying moments. I can guarantee you someone, because we kick a lot, I can guarantee you someone would have dropped himself back into the pocket and he would have slotted that drop goal over. So there was a bit of error in their thinking as well. So it just goes to show you they're beatable. They make mistakes. Their thinking's not always on point as well. Put them under pressure. They were under pressure to get those points in, and they weren't thinking. And we managed to hold them off.
You know what I don't understand is, I mean, Bowden Barrett is an excellent kicker, and 4 times he hit those poles.
Off day. They should have subbed them. They should have changed. Not subbed.
But you had Geordie and Damien on the field. Geordie and Damien were on the field. You know, and if you want to get your points, you should have just called Damon McKenzie and said, "Come, kick."
Exactly. I'm pretty sure McKenzie's a better kicker anyway.
I think so too.
Yes.
I think so too. Look, I'm not taking anything away from Bowden Barrett. He is an exceptional rugby player. I mean, on another level rugby player. But
they should have just, if he had an off game, You missed the first one. I didn't expect them to. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, that was right on the left. I remember I said to Don, I don't think this guy will get this. It's too acute an angle.
Yeah.
Oh, something's wrong.
And he was a left kicker, and it was actually would have been more. It would have been easier for a right kicker to have converted that. But the other three, was it three?
You missed four.
Hit the poles.
Yeah, 2 hit the poles.
Yeah.
But listen, Grant, we can't keep you all night.
Yeah.
Because we people get bored of our show if it goes longer than a few.
And we've got to share our popularity with all the other New Zealanders.
Yeah. But we've got to say we've got some really, really good news this week.
Yeah.
Gordon went for his scan, and he's in remission. He's in remission, which is excellent news. We actually had 3 good things happen this week. That was the first piece of good news. Secondly, we can actually go to the toilet legally now in our house because we've had our conservancy tank sorted out. We're off the illegal sewer connection.
We can have a barbecue later on and get plastic chairs and put them right around the big manhole of the conservancy tank.
And we'll all practice dropping
and watch little boats go past into the tank. And then the third thing was
the box one.
I can't say the All Blacks lost. The box won.
It's
derogatory to say that.
The box won.
Yeah.
And completely unexpected.
Yeah.
But the box won.
So those are the 3 good things this week. Although I didn't want the box to win. Of course, I'm a New Zealand, and Mom too. Mom, you'll see in a little skirt just now doing the female haka. She's stoked on the haka, eh?
Yeah. Oh, she's loved it since when 95.
We want to get the jerseys done enough. You can't get them here in our little village. If you did, you'd get them. You'd pay about 2,000 rand for them.
What?
Yeah.
Probably about right. Yep.
Yeah. If there's a place here that you can order them with import duties and all of that, they come to just under 3,000 rand.
Jeez.
I got a Champions of the World shop just around the corner from us in town.
Yeah.
So, we'll go past there. It'll break my heart to buy an All Blacks jersey.
What?
Just the smoke.
You go to New Zealand to be in New Zealand, and you're not supporting them.
No, of course I am. Of course I support them. It's just not when the Springboks.
It's funny
I'll walk in. I'll have to do it soon so I can walk in with my top on, and the victory's still fresh. We can't have played a second time. So
in the stadium, everybody with the South African flags upside down, red at the bottom, blue at the top, when it should be vice versa.
Yeah.
And they've all got their South African colours on. But why go and emigrate to New Zealand if they're going to continue support?
Hey, look, it's just because you've moved halfway across the world doesn't mean that it's a sporting team. You can support whoever you want, no matter where you live.
Yeah.
But you could say the same against Mama.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you should drop your team just because you live somewhere else. I think I'd respect someone less if they did that.
Yeah. Look, when I was 6 years old, I loved the box. You can't change that, something that's so ingrained in somebody. Just change.
But I haven't been stoked on rugby to be able to. I know my allegiance lies basically with South Africa because I'm a South African, but my top team, as I've always stated, is New Zealand.
The top team is New Zealand.
But it's like us supporting New Zealand, living miles away from. I suppose it's the same as the South Africans living.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, New Zealand is the top team. I can't tell you that when we face them in a couple of weeks' time that we're going to win. It'll probably be the other way around.
The chances are they're going to be baying for blood, and they're probably going to come out firing on all cylinders. Yeah, and
we'll learn a couple of lessons.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, our defence was very good yesterday.
It was very good.
Okay. Yeah.
But listen, let's finish it there. Thanks, Grant, for joining us halfway around the world, for staying up. It's not too late there.
Well, he's on the arse end of the world. If he steps off the boundary at Queenstown, he's fallen off the earth.
Just remember, whatever happens in the world, it happens here first.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's true.
Christmas is celebrated before New Year. Everything is before, 10 hours ahead of us. It just shows you how behind we are, how backward we are in this country. You get all the release of the new music and everything before we even experience it.
Yeah, but that's probably why the All Blacks win all the time. It's because when the match gets announced, they get to start 10 hours ahead of you guys training. That's where the fitness comes in, 10 hours ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
But you must ask Perenara if he can give me the English words of the meaning of the haka.
It's on your door.
No, but that's short. It's just a little, it's one sentence.
Yeah, I've never...
I love this.
I met Aaron Smith.
Is it Aaron Smith that does the shouting?
TJ Perenara does the calling. Yeah.
But I need to know what this means.
Well, all the people that subscribe to our channel, maybe put it down in the comments. What do you think or what you know all the words mean and all that, because we're really interested to know and what the meaning behind all of it is. Yes, we enjoy watching it, but it'd be nice to have a little bit of meaning behind it too.
And what the hand signals actually indicate. Look, I really love it. I get goose pimples the size of a wart.
But listen, guys, if you like our channel, please subscribe to our channel. We really, we've gone well over 600 subscribers. I think we're closer to 700 now, which is excellent. We're doing really, really well. And please like our video, please share it. I just want to say thanks again to Grant for joining us this week. Let's make it not super regular, but because I know you've got kids and you've got everything, but it'd be nice to have you on the show every now and again, that you can give us some insight from that side of the world.
And Grant, at the same time, if you can try and encourage, just on a point of interest, to ask New Zealanders to log in, because it actually gives you a good insight as to what is happening here, and we know what's happening there.
Yeah.
And although today I was, you guys were streets ahead of me with knowledge of rugby, and I've told the folks before that I'm not a fanatic on rugby history and all that type of thing. So you forgot I was actually sitting here, but I was observing everything that you guys said. So you can tell them, if there's an old fart on the right-hand side, there's my dad. He's not too smart on rugby.
We'll see. We'll see if we can get up to 1,000 and go from there.
Yeah, but you must tell them the most important thing is, when we have our Barbie today, we've got our we can legally poo.
Hey, Grant, thanks for joining us this week. Cheers, Grant.
Sadagashi.
Cheers, gang. Cheers, Grant. Chat soon. Cheers.
Do you know what Sadagashi means?